wife has spent her career as a public school teacher and therefore is very concerned to protect traditional, integrated, secular public education in our state, sat on this proposed constitutional amendment, and it didn't get out of committee. It didn't even get a hearing in committee, thanks to this Republican state senator. Well, now he's turned out of office, and I'm afraid the floodgates are going to open. We're going to see this in the next session of the legislature, and we'll probably we'll see a proposed constitutional amendment on the ballot in 2012. It's something that we are all going to be up to our elders on. So I wanted to say that we get support from both sides of the aisle. Let me give you another example of a different sort. We are very heavily invested in, I heard you say, vote no on all the constitutional amendments except 5 and 6. 5 and 6 is the most important thing on the ballot, maybe aside from who's going to be governor. That is something that's going to affect this state for at least the next decade, and it may be the only chance we've got in our lifetime to try to reverse gerrymandering in the state and racial gerrymandering. Why is it the case that one party exceeds the other political party by registrations by almost 750,000 people, but the party with the largest number of voter registrations, namely Democrats, only have about 30% of the House through successful manipulation of the process of gerrymandering? And I must say it's a pact with the devil. There are some people, pack all of the Democrats, pack all of the many black voters as you can into as fewer districts as you can. You'll guarantee that there'll be some Democratic seats and some black seats. They'll have a lot of influence in those few districts. They'll have no influence in most of the other districts all around them. So the two people who are leading the crusade in opposition to 5 and 6 is a Republican Cuban congressman from Miami, Mario Diaz-Balart, and a black female Democratic congresswoman from Jacksonville, Corrine Brown. So civil liberties, go in both directions. You can't count on either party. Now, let me say a couple of other things. As I said, it is harder and harder to try to maintain ACLU's stance as a nonpartisan organization protecting personal freedom, civil rights, and civil liberties, particularly when one party has become more and more an anti-civil liberties party. Now, I don't know if you saw the news a couple of days ago about the debate between the two Senate candidates in Delaware that occurred before a law school audience of all places, in which this Christine O'Donnell, who's the Tea Party candidate for Senate, said, "Where in the Constitution is there anything called separation of church and state?" And so our opponent, Coons, the county commissioner, I think, recites the First Amendment. In the First Amendment? Where? Now, let me just say, in her defense, what she was parroting is what has become the mantra of Republican right-wing talking points in this country. What she was really meant to say was not that there's no separation of church and state, but that the words separation of church and state do not appear in the Constitution. And she's right about that. What she didn't understand, because she's not right enough, is she didn't understand her own talking points. It's not that there's no separation of church and state, but that the words separation of church and state don't appear in the Constitution. But here's the issue. Forget about that's a minor point. The words don't appear. What is the meaning of what? So what? What do you make of that?